and further out. Someone had to get to shore. Someone had to get help. And he decided that someone was going to be him. So he says I'm going to swim for it. And then he does something that just sounds totally counterintuitive, right? He takes off his life jacket. Why would he do that? Because it was creating drag. It was slowing him down. It was this calculated risk that shows you this 13-year-old was already thinking like a survivor, focused on one thing and one thing only: speed. Okay, so now we get to the swim itself. And what comes next is just an unbelievable test of physical endurance, of mental fortitude. It was a battle not just against the water, but against the absolute limits of his own body. Let's just pause on this for a second. 13. Think about it. At 13, your biggest worry might be homework or a video game. Austin's worry was swimming through a rough, open ocean to save his family. The scale of what he did becomes so much bigger when you remember just how young he was. And how far did he go? 2.5 miles. That's over 4 kilometers. Not in a nice, calm swimming pool. No, this was in choppy, open water, fighting against currents the whole way. I mean, that's a distance that would challenge a fully trained adult athlete. And here's the part of the story that just blows my mind. Right before this whole ordeal, Austin was in a swimming program where he was struggling to complete 350 meters. That's less than a quarter of a mile. He went from finding that hard to swimming more than 10 times that distance in the worst conditions imaginable. It's just unbelievable. So how on earth did he do it? Well, it wasn't just raw strength. It was strategy. Physically, he was smart. He saved energy by switching up his strokes. Mentally, he fought off the darkness by thinking of simple, happy things, like Thomas the Tank Engine just chugging along, saying, "I think I can." And above all else, his motivation was keeping that picture of his family in his head, waiting for him. Can you even begin to imagine the pain, the absolute burn in his muscles, the salt stinging his eyes, his lungs just screaming for air with every single wave that crashed over him? But through all of that, he just had this simple mantra, a command he gave himself over and over: just keep swimming. So after hours of this brutal effort, the swim finally comes to an end. But his mission wasn't over, not by a long shot. Now came the rescue part, and this is where we see how one boy's determination saved everyone. Finally, after 4 hours in the water, his feet hit sand. He was completely spent, and he just collapsed on the beach. But there was no time to rest. He gets up and he runs, just looking for the first person he can find to sound the alarm. And this part is just as incredible as the swim. Despite the exhaustion, the trauma, everything he'd just been through, Austin was able to give rescuers clear, precise information. He wasn't just physically strong. His mind was sharp, even